The sinking of the Titanic serves as a stark reminder of how small oversights can lead to immense tragedy. Similarly, the Chernobyl disaster in 1986 unfolded from a series of flawed decisions and disregarded protocols. In April 1986, engineers at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant in Ukraine were preparing for a safety test. This test aimed to simulate a power outage to assess the plant's ability to maintain cooling functions. However, the test was rushed and poorly planned, setting the stage for disaster. Several crucial safety procedures were deliberately altered or ignored to expedite the process. Warnings from experienced personnel regarding potential risks were dismissed or overlooked. The team was under pressure to complete the test quickly, leading to a dangerous disregard for safety. As the test commenced, the power output of the reactor unexpectedly dropped to near zero. In an attempt to recover the power level, operators made a series of ill-advised adjustments. These adjustments violated established safety protocols and pushed the reactor to its limits. Then, at 1:23 and 45 seconds a.m., one button was pressed at the wrong moment, initiating a chain reaction. This single mistake triggered a catastrophic power surge within the reactor core. The surge caused a massive explosion, tearing apart the reactor and releasing a plume of radioactive material. The explosion and subsequent fire sent a cloud of highly radioactive particles into the atmosphere. Radiation spread across vast areas of Europe, contaminating land, water, and air. The immediate aftermath saw heroic efforts to contain the fire and prevent further explosions. Firefighters and plant workers risked their lives to extinguish the flames and secure the site. However, the scale of the disaster was unprecedented, and the consequences were devastating. Entire cities and villages within a wide radius of the plant were evacuated and abandoned. Pripyat, a city of nearly 50,000 people, became a ghost town, frozen in time. The long-term health effects of the Chernobyl disaster are still being studied. Increased rates of cancer and other radiation-related illnesses have been documented in affected populations. The Chernobyl exclusion zone, a 30-kilometer radius around the plant, remains largely uninhabitable. The area will likely remain contaminated for thousands of years. The Chernobyl disaster serves as a chilling reminder of the potential consequences of negligence. It highlights the importance of adhering to safety protocols and prioritizing caution in high-risk environments. The disaster underscores the need for rigorous oversight and a culture of safety in the nuclear industry. All because safety rules weren't followed exactly, a region was devastated. The repercussions continued to affect lives and landscapes decades later. The assassination that ignited World War I also began with a series of errors. In 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary visited Sarajevo, a city rife with political tensions. A group of assassins plotted to kill the Archduke as he traveled through the city. On the day of the assassination, the assassins launched their attack. However, the first attempt failed when a bomb missed the Archduke's car. The target survived the initial attack and escaped, frustrating the assassins' plans. Later that day, by pure chance, the Archduke's driver took a wrong turn. The driver mistakenly turned down a street where one of the assassins happened to be. The assassin, Gavrilo Princip, found himself standing just feet away from his intended target. Princip seized the opportunity and fired several shots at the Archduke and his wife. The shots that followed didn't just kill one man and his wife. They ignited a chain reaction that plunged Europe into World War I. The assassination triggered a series of alliances and declarations of war. The conflict quickly escalated into a global war involving numerous nations. Millions of soldiers and civilians would die because someone got lost. The war reshaped the political landscape of Europe and had far-reaching consequences. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand stands as a stark example. It shows how a seemingly minor event can have catastrophic repercussions. These historical events highlight the critical importance of attention to detail. They also show the need for careful planning and adherence to safety protocols. They serve as cautionary tales, reminding us that small mistakes can have enormous consequences. Even in moments of crisis, clear thinking and calm decision-making are essential. In 1983, a military officer received a terrifying alert. Radar systems claimed nuclear missiles were incoming. Protocol demanded immediate retaliation. But something felt wrong. Instead of reacting, the officer hesitated. He trusted his instinct over the computer. The alert was false. A malfunction nearly triggered nuclear war, and one calm decision prevented global catastrophe. The Titanic sinking shows how small choices lead to disaster. The Chernobyl disaster in 1986 further underscores this point. A rush safety test at a nuclear power plant with altered procedures and dismissed warnings culminated in a single, fatal button press. This triggered the worst nuclear accident in history, releasing radiation across Europe and forcing the abandonment of entire cities. Decades later, the damage persists, a stark reminder of the importance of adhering to safety protocols. Imagine the control room, alarms blaring faintly as engineers scramble. A supervisor, face slick with sweat, barks orders over the din. Each action, each ignored warning, tightens the noose around the reactor's core. The button is pressed. A low rumble becomes a deafening roar. The world changes forever. Similarly, the assassination that ignited World War I involved a series of chance events. Archduke Franz Ferdinand's motorcade speeds through Sarajevo. The assassin, Gavrilo Princip, dejected after an earlier failed attempt, sits in a cafe, resigned. Then, a wrong turn. The Archduke's car, reversing to correct its course, stalls directly in front of Princip. A moment of disbelief, then action. Shots ring out. The world holds its breath. An assassin's initial failure and subsequent wrong turn led him to his target. By sheer coincidence, setting off a chain of events that resulted in millions of deaths. Consider the weight of that wrong turn. The butterfly effect amplified to a global scale. A single, insignificant navigational error reshaping the destiny of nations. The cafe, the car, the assassin's surprise, each a tiny cog in a machine of unimaginable destruction. The Archduke slumps, his wife beside him. The crowd gasps. The world is plunged into darkness. The assassin is apprehended. The gears of war begin to grind. Empires crumble. A generation is lost. All because of a wrong turn, a chance encounter, a moment of fateful alignment. These aren't tales of grand conspiracies or evil masterminds. They are stories of human fallibility, of the fragile nature of order, and the catastrophic potential hidden within the smallest of errors. They serve as chilling reminders that history often hinges not on deliberate design, but on the unpredictable dance of chance and consequence. The weight of history rests on such slender threads. A button press. A wrong turn. A moment of hesitation. Each a potential tipping point, a gateway to either triumph or tragedy. The past whispers its warnings, urging us to remain vigilant, to question assumptions, and to never underestimate the power of the seemingly insignificant. For within those tiny errors lie the seeds of unimaginable disasters. The world watches, waiting. The lessons of history echo. Will we heed them? Or are we doomed to repeat the mistakes of the past? Only time will tell. The clock is ticking. These examples show that disasters weren't born of malice, but from human fallibility. Rushing, assuming, and overlooking details can lead to catastrophe. Even near-catastrophic events, like the 1,983 false nuclear missile alert, highlight this. A military officer's hesitation and trust in his instinct over a computer malfunction averted potential nuclear war. The officer, Stanislav Petrov, had reason to believe the system was faulty. His calm decision-making prevented a retaliatory strike based on false data. Had he followed protocol without question, the consequences could have been unimaginable. The Mars Climate Orbiter, lost in 1999, offers another cautionary tale. The spacecraft vanished upon entering the Martian atmosphere due to a simple measurement conversion error. One engineering team used metric units, while another used imperial units. This seemingly minor discrepancy resulted in the complete loss of the $125 million mission. The error went unnoticed during critical trajectory calculations. The spacecraft descended too steeply, burning up in the atmosphere. These disasters weren't born of malice, but from human fallibility. Rushing, assuming, and overlooking details all contributed. The pressure to meet deadlines, coupled with inadequate oversight, created a recipe for disaster. In each case, individuals made choices or overlooked details that had far-reaching consequences. The Titanic's captain maintained speed despite iceberg warnings. Chernobyl's operators bypassed safety protocols. The Mars Climate Orbiter team failed to double-check unit conversions. These weren't acts of deliberate sabotage, but of human error. History teaches us that profound consequences often stem from the smallest of oversights. A misplaced decimal point, a missed warning sign, a rushed decision, any of these can alter history. These events serve as a constant reminder of the importance of diligence and attention to detail. In a world of increasing complexity, the potential for small errors to have huge impacts only grows. We must learn from these past mistakes and strive for greater vigilance in all our endeavors. The lessons of the Titanic, Chernobyl, and the Mars Climate Orbiter remain relevant today. They urge us to question assumptions, verify data, and prioritize safety above all else. Only through constant vigilance can we hope to avoid repeating the mistakes of the past and prevent tiny errors from snowballing into huge disasters. Consider again the case of Stanislav Petrov, the officer who averted nuclear war. His story underscores the importance of critical thinking in high-pressure situations. He questioned the data presented to him, trusting his gut feeling that something was amiss. That intuition, combined with his knowledge of the system's vulnerabilities, saved countless lives. The Mars Climate Orbiter's fate is a stark reminder of the need for meticulous attention to detail. A seemingly insignificant error in unit conversion led to the complete loss of the spacecraft. This failure highlights the importance of cross-checking and verifying data at every stage. It also emphasizes the need for clear communication and collaboration between different teams. The Titanic disaster serves as a cautionary tale about complacency and overconfidence. The ship was deemed unsinkable, leading to a relaxation of safety protocols. Iceberg warnings were ignored, and the ship maintained a high speed through dangerous waters. These decisions, driven by a sense of invincibility, ultimately led to tragedy. The Chernobyl disaster underscores the importance of adhering to safety regulations. The operators bypassed critical safety protocols during a rush safety test. This disregard for established procedures triggered the worst nuclear accident in history. These examples illustrate how small mistakes can have catastrophic consequences. They remind us that vigilance, attention to detail, and critical thinking are essential. In an increasingly complex world, the potential for errors to have far-reaching impacts only grows. We must learn from these past mistakes and strive for greater diligence in all our endeavors. By questioning assumptions, verifying data, and prioritizing safety, we can hope to avoid repeating them. The stories of these disasters serve as a constant reminder of human fallibility. They urge us to be vigilant, to question assumptions, and to prioritize safety above all else. Only through constant vigilance can we hope to prevent tiny errors from snowballing into huge disasters. These historical events teach invaluable lessons about risk management and prevention. They demonstrate the need for robust safety protocols and rigorous oversight. They also highlight the importance of fostering a culture of accountability and transparency. By learning from these past mistakes, we can build a safer and more resilient future. A future where small errors don't lead to catastrophic consequences. A future where diligence and attention to detail are valued above all else.